Hey guys, what's up? It's Sydney and I am back for another episode of Haunted Locations, and this week we are going to be talking about the St. Augustine Lighthouse. So the St. Augustine Lighthouse is actually located in St. Augustine, Florida. It is the second tallest in Florida and the oldest. Construction on this beautiful structure started in 1874 and has been guiding ships to shore since the late 1870s. So the lighthouse actually, believe it or not, has the original lens from 1874 that they put in when they redesigned the lighthouse, because they did have one there before that dates back all the way to like the 1850s. So obviously 143 years ago, the lighthouse didn't run off of electricity or bulbs like it does now. It actually ran off of kerosene and well oil, and at the time the lightkeeper had to carry the well oil and the kerosene up to the lighthouse, and he had to do this in a bucket, and it was like 20 pounds. And it's amazing that he got it all the way up there, because in the lighthouse it actually has 219 steps to get to the top. It's a very, very tall lighthouse. So not only did he have to carry this 20-pound bucket all the way up to the top of the lighthouse, but he had to do this every 2 to 3 hours, so that way it would stay lit for the ships to come to shore. And St. Augustine is actually the oldest city in Florida. So due to Florida's soft sand and drifting coastline, many of Florida's lighthouses would actually become victim to the sea because they would get destroyed by the currents and the sand basically sinking them in. So it's actually pretty incredible that this one still stands there today after 143 years. So in the keeper's house, which is now a museum, they have 2 shotguns that are displayed, and the keeper would actually keep them fully loaded just in case of an attack, because during this time frame it was around World War II and there was a lot of activity in that area at the time. Also on display is the bucket that we talked about earlier and the uniform that the keeper was required to wear. They have pictures, landscape layouts, and a bunch of other things that you can go see as well. Now, my favorite part, we're going to talk about the ghosts of the St. Augustine Lighthouse, and the reason why the history part of it was so short is because there is a lot of history in the actual ghost section as well, so we're going to get into that. So as they were replacing the old lighthouse with the new one, 2 children were playing with the supply cart when it was being built. They had equipment and everything around there. And I read a few different sources as the children were the keeper's children, and then one source said one source said that the children were actually the children of the construction manager at the time. So I'm not entirely sure which one it is, but regardless, they were playing with a supply cart that the workers used during the construction time, and they used to play with it down by the ocean. And one day they got stuck in the cart and it went into the ocean and they inevitably drowned. Their names were Mary and Eliza. The children unfortunately died on July 10, 1873. I found another piece of information stating that there was another girl that actually died there, but I couldn't find anything on her really, like her name or how she died or anything. They say that mostly everyone there died of natural causes, so I'm assuming that was the case as well. But if you know her name or know anything else about her, please leave a comment down below, because I would love to know more about this little girl. Many previous and current staff have actually gone on record and say that there is a lot of paranormal activity that happens in this place. Some have claimed to have seen all 3 children, and some have only claimed to have seen Mary and Eliza. But nonetheless, they hear the children playing in the tower, in the yard, in the backyard. They hear laughter, giggling. They see them in the gift shops. And I believe Eliza, she was always known to be wearing like a blue dress, and she was wearing it when she died, is actually seen a lot on top of the tower, like late at night when it's shut down. So as I mentioned, they were often seen in the gift shop as well, and a lot of the times because they sell music boxes in the gift shop, the music boxes will actually open and start playing on their own. And then soon after, you'll hear like little girls giggling and laughing. The staff have also had like childish pranks pulled on them. Nothing, you know, scary or whatever, but just something like silly. And then the doors, they would always lock the top of the tower door at the end of the day. And every time that they would come back to work, they would actually find the door wide open. And this is after somebody has to walk up 219 fucking steps. I would be pissed if I walked up every day 219 steps and then the door was already open. There was no point for me to walk up there. I'd be livid. But the children, however, are said to be very playful and good spirits. So I mentioned before that many people have seen Eliza in her blue dress on top of the tower. A lot of people have seen, they believe to be Mary as well, in period clothes, standing in the window of one of the windows of the tower. Now on to the man in blue. So there are actually two different theories to who this ghost or spirit may be. The first theory of the man in blue is about a man named Joseph Andrew, and he was actually the first lighthouse keeper back in 1859 on record, and he's the one that actually fell or was pushed to his death when he was painting the lighthouse. But I think he fell because if you're painting, you're on a ladder, it's pretty easy to fall off a ladder. And then the second theory is that it was a different keeper and he actually hung himself in the tower, which kind of is odd to me because the keeper's house is on the property very close. Like I said before, it is now a museum, so it's very, very close to the lighthouse. So it's kind of confusing to me why you would hang yourself in the tower instead of your own home, unless it was supposed to be like symbolic in a way. And I'm not sure if the keeper that hung himself was the same one as Peter, a different keeper, but we're gonna go with that because I'm pretty sure that that's what it is from what I researched. But there was a couple of different stories, so it's really difficult. So if anybody really knows about Peter, please let me know down below. But I choose to believe that it's Peter because of the suicide and everything like that. And a lot of people say that he was a big fan of cigars. And many people, visitors and staff, have reported smelling cigar smoke on the lighthouse keeper's home, like the porch of his home, and then in the stairwell of the lighthouse as well. And because they tried so hard and are trying so hard to preserve this property and make sure it stays like a historical landmark, basically, they prohibit smoking on the property, which is completely understandable because they don't want any accidental fires doing any damage to any historical things or buildings for that matter. And not only that, but it's pretty hard to conceal cigar smoke. If you've ever seen a cigar lit, it lets off a lot of smoke, and it's pretty obvious if someone is smoking a cigar, and it would be very hard to hide it, especially in this area because it was very like wide open and you could see all around you. But regardless, the man in blue is said to be, like I said before, a mean spirit or an unpleasant spirit, and he has actually been known to follow workers and visitors all the way up the stairs and down the stairs of the tower, as if like he's basically like stepping on your ankles. Like if you've ever felt someone walk like pretty much on your feet, you'd know the feeling that I'm talking about. And actually, one of the most recent keepers of the lighthouse refused to stay there after a while because he felt very uncomfortable in the keeper's house and even in the tower. One of the more recent keepers of the lighthouse actually refused to stay in the keeper's house or the keeper's home because he said that the spirit was disturbing in nature. And he actually eventually refused the job altogether. Some people have actually been grabbed or pushed as well. So like I said, maybe he was just way too violent for him and he just couldn't take it anymore and he had to leave. Too violent, maybe? Many people have visited this place. As I said, it is open now and is a museum and a tourist hotspot. So if you would like to go there, you definitely can in St. Augustine. it's a beautiful sight to see as far as I've seen on pictures. I do plan on going there at some point, but I'm really scared of heights, so I don't know if I can do this. And I felt very drawn to this story in particular because numbers always have some weird, like serious meaning with me, and the fact that it's 219 steps really stuck out in my head because that's my birthday, is 219. So I'll probably end up going, but I don't know if I'm gonna actually get all the way up the tower because it would be really scary. And I don't know if I'm ready to face my fears. I'll talk to ghosts, but I'm not climbing up 219 steps, okay? But anyway, like I said, it is a museum now, and around 200,000 people visit this beautiful place a year. So like I said, if you would like to go, it is available for the public. And I'm gonna try to work up my courage to take that 219. I don't know. So, but yeah, like I said, definitely a maybe for me. I really want to go, but I'm just scared. But anyway, that is going to be all for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to follow me, you can. It's at Sydney's Poisonous on Instagram, and my jewelry shop. If you like crystals and stuff like this, you can find stuff like this there. And my Instagram for that is at Perfect Poison Shop. And on Etsy, it's Perfect Poison Shop, all one word. The YouTube, if you want to follow that on Instagram, you can. It's at Sydney's Poisonous on YouTube as well. And I just made a Facebook page, and it's Sydney's Poisonous, obviously, on Facebook. I will be posting my videos to Facebook as well. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up for me. Share it with your friends and, you know, whatever. And make sure to subscribe to my channel as well. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.